Hello and welcome to another episode of Battle Ready. Ready. And today, Warhammer is amazing.
Yes.
Super fun. We love it.
Bestest.
But it's not easy to play out of the box.
Oh, no.
And this isn't a discussion about rules, complexity. We've talked about some of that in the past.
Yes.
More that, when you buy a board game, you can take it home, you read the rules, you punch stuff out, and you can play in
Pokes are the best.
30 minutes. Yeah, the pokes.
Pokes.
And stuff. Depending on the complexity of the board game, 30 minutes, you know how to play, and you're off to the races. Or at least you know enough to play, to get started, and then you figure it out from there. Video games are even easier.
You
right?
learn as you play.
Yeah. When I was, back in the olden times, back in,
the
covered wagons.
Glasses.
In the covered wagon days when we had our video games.
Or some buggy
days. Game would come with a booklet that told you how to play because there wasn't enough memory, there wasn't enough storage to put a tutorial in the game. So you had to, when you started playing, you were just playing the game. And then if you wanted to know what the controls did, you needed a booklet to tell you. Now, they don't do that. There's no booklets in games anymore. They just have a tutorial mission where you literally just put the disc in and start playing, and it tells you how to play the game. So you just, right away, from the instant you put it in, although lots of times you put the disc in and you have to wait 2 hours for things to download.
Yep. The second
you get to actually get into the app, into the game to play, you are playing. But that's not true in Warhammer.
Oh, no.
Right? You go and you buy a bunch of stuff. Let's say you buy the box, right? And let's say you have a friend who has all the spearhead stuff. So all you don't even need to buy the rules and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But you buy yourself a spearhead box. You can't go home and play.
No, you have to build it.
You've got to go home and you've got to build it. You've got to get out your plastic. You got to already have plastic glue and nippers and
sanding twigs.
Yeah, sanding twigs if you want to get real fancy with it.
We don't.
Yeah, a little. I mean, I just use an X-Acto knife, right?
Cut off those names.
Or X-Acto is actually a name brand, so a hobby knife of any brand. But yeah, you need all your tools. So you need to already have those tools. And then even if you have all those tools already, you need to spend time building all those models.
And
even if you're a quick builder, that takes time.
It takes like an hour.
I mean, I guess it depends on how many models, how elite is your spearhead, but it takes time. It's not a quick process. It's not like a video game. It's not even like a board game where the way you prepare is
pokes.
That's not what it is at all, right? You have to build, follow instructions, put it all together. And then you could play it gray. Oh, but where's the fun in that? Really what you're going to do, what you should do, prime it all up,
then highlight, then
paint it all up, and after getting through all of that, you have an amazing, glorious army, right?
Yeah. Well, then you have to varnish it. Then you have an amazing, glorious army.
Some people don't like to varnish.
Why?
Because it does slightly change the colors, and
it gets rid of shininess.
It gets on metallics, yeah.
Which is a really easy way to cheat and do non-metallic metal.
No, that's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, we varnish everything just because I don't want our paint jobs to get messed up. Because we're going to play with those models, and we're going to touch them, not just by the base like you're supposed to. We're going to pick those models up by their heads, and so everything gets varnished. But I guess the bottom line is, if you want to play Warhammer and you're going to get your own stuff. I guess it'd be different if your friend has a second army that he just lends you, right? That'd be a little bit different. But let's say you're going to get your own stuff. You're going to get into it so that you have a Warhammer army. It's sort of a commitment. It's sort of a big deal. And video games have other really good options. Like, for example, you play a game like Knights of the Old Republic or Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that. In Elden Ring, what's your 2-hit and 2-wound?
Press buttons.
You just press a button, and the computer does all the calculations. It subtracts from the bad guy's health. It puts in all the modifiers. It does all that sort of stuff. In Warhammer, you have to do it. You're the computer.
You got to roll all the stupid dice.
Well, actually, the rolling is sort of fun, but remembering all the penalties and what does cover do again? Oh, what is I forgot. Did my guy have a ward? Right? And then You have to remember it
My
all,
poor
right?
balloon boys.
So I think Warhammer is just in a society that's way more digital than it ever has been, right? Warhammer is very much an analog game. So
Rustic.
despite that's rustic, despite that drawback, and I think it is a drawback, despite that drawback, why do we play it so much? Why do we love it? Why are we all about that Warhammer life? Warhammer for life? What do you think, Drake? Why would you rather play Warhammer than Elden Ring or Tears of the Kingdom or anything else?
I would rather play Elden Ring than Tears of the Kingdom and Elden Ring and all the other stuff.
You mean you'd rather play Warhammer than
Yes,
those? Okay,
yes.
yeah.
I don't know why
All
I said Elden Ring.
I thought we were okay. This conversation's going a different direction. All right. Why would you rather play Warhammer?
Because in a video game, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. It's all scripted. Even in open world games, it's still semi-scripted. You're supposed to go do this, 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 and this.
Well, that's true, but I think someone could say, well, in Warhammer, you're supposed to take a hero phase and then a movement phase, and it is scripted.
Yes, but instead there's an objective where they're worth 2 free points.
Mm-hmm.
I can have my dragon go charge your other dragon and have
well,
a fight.
One of the things that I think does make it better. Now, don't get us wrong. We love Tears of the Kingdom. We love Elden Ring. We love Breath of the Wild. We're fans of video games,
yes.
right? But one thing that does make Warhammer more special is that you get to create your experience, and you get to create it twice, right? You get to create it once when you're list building, and you're going to decide, oh, I want to play this type of army, and I want to use these units. And you can even make your own head lore, where you're like, oh yeah, this is the throat snickers, where these guys are out there. There aren't any, this is like a branch of the army that's out trying to capture and kill people. So I'm going to use a lot of dirty tricks, and I'm not going to have hobgrots and stuff like that, right? Where everybody's poison town. So I'm only going to have poison people, right? Or you can say, oh, my guys are these Lumineth saviors who think they're better than everyone else. And so, so you can create up this whole story in your head, and you're deciding what faction you want. You're out of like 24, 25, however many we have right now.
I think they cut 2.
Well, whatever it is, but it's a lot. It's in the 20s.
26.
And then you get to create all that, not only the faction, but also the units within the faction. Like the style of army is totally up to you, right? So that's one. And then once you're actually playing the game, because there's a lot of role-playing games, stuff like that, where you can come, you start with a bunch of different classes and you can pick your own stats and stuff. So there's a lot of customization. But oftentimes, once you do that, you take those stats and you hit the main storyline, right? In Warhammer, you take the army that you've created
and you fight the other army
against somebody else's army that they created, and you are developing your own narrative on the tabletop. That's one of the things that's so cool, is stuff will happen. The dice make things happen, right? But it's so easy to see the story come out of it. There was a great moment in a recent Spearhead game where my knight killed a warden, a Sky Warden, Caradron guy,
2.
Sky Warden. No, this knight killed 1 by stomping on him with a horse.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, well, how did that happen? How did he get stomped?
Smacked it down with a stick.
Well, he did take 1 damage from a lance. So we like, okay, so the lance must have pierced the balloon, and then when he hit the ground, the horse trampled him. And you could see that in your mind, right? You can see that and think, oh man, this is so cool. And it's not something that anybody programmed into the game. No designer put that content in. It's something that was emergent from playing the game.
It just happened.
It just happens. And that's for me anyway, part of what makes Warhammer so special is you have this system it has, even though we love it and it's amazing, it's not perfect. It has its foibles, right? But you're able to see these cool things come out of it that no one would have ever have planned for, right? We never would have thought about that. Why else do we like Warhammer?
You like playing with me because it gets me away from screens.
That's okay. So that is a good benefit. So Drake, like all children, is basically completely addicted to screens.
No.
Yes. And if he had his way, he would be on the screen basically all the time. So playing Warhammer and getting away from that is very, very good. So that there's something that Drake wants, because there's other. I mean, obviously he's not on screens all the time. Sometimes he has to go to school. He's got to do homework. But a lot of the other times he's away from screens are things that he doesn't want to do. So it's nice that there's something he wants to do that isn't screen based. Yeah. What else? What else about Warhammer makes you like it, even though there's a lot more prep work and
I get to kill your toys with my toys.
yeah, the interaction is very strong. I like that. You know, one of the things I miss about video games is I'm an old person, but when I was horse and buggy, when in our covered wagons across the plains, what we would do, we would play so many games split screen, right? Whether it was co-op,
I know this thing.
You know, you're
I've
aware.
done it a couple times.
Whether it was co-op or versus, you know, we were all in the same room, experiencing the same thing and screaming and having a blast. And a lot of that's been taken away because now a lot of it's online and remote. So you stay in your house and I'll stay in my house, and it's not the same. And I feel like Warhammer is a great way where we're all experiencing together. We're all in the same room. We're all in the same room. We're all having that great experience, and we're sharing it between us. I like that I would like a co-op mode. I think a co-op mode would be really fun.
There was one back in second.
It was in a White Dwarf. No, second. It was in a White Dwarf, and it did okay.
I had the bow lady from third.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
No.
The Stormcast bow girl who sold the two dogs.
Didn't have that one.
I did.
Nope. It was in second.
I remember having a bow girl.
No.
It was Stormcast.
So anyway, beyond that, co-op would be good.
Yeah.
But even on the verses, you get to experience something that's really, really good and really special. What else?
What about you? Warhorse and buggy days.
Did you run out of things you like?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would say I think the final thing for me. So we talked about the creative aspect, the emergent narrative. We talked about how we're all in the same room, and I think one of the things that I really like about it is most of the models that we play with. Most of them are ones that I've built and painted. Drake has painted some, especially when it comes to Gits and Iron Jaws.
Wow.
And the painting is getting way better. You should see his repainted squigs.
Yeah.
Squig hoppers.
I kit bashed.
Oh yeah, and with some kit bashing on them. It was really cool.
I don't know what bits they're from.
But one of the things I like is it's really sort of cool to see the models out there. Not just that they're painted, which is awesome. And if you're playing with Gray Miniatures right now, let me highly, highly encourage you to paint them. Even if you're not the best painter in the world, even if you're just sort of a mediocre painter, they'll look better on the tabletop with paint. They just will. That aside, seeing stuff that I painted is really cool because when we're playing with it on the tabletop, it's like, oh yeah, I appreciate more the stuff that's on there. Mm-hmm. You know, when it comes to playing a video game, it's like, you know, I like having a lot of loot that it took me a long time to get, right? But how often are you really customizing every little aspect and choosing the colors and choosing how this? Super rare.
I'm too busy killing stuff.
Yeah, even when the games that allow it, oftentimes you're like, well, that's the boring part of the game. I'm going to the cool part.
Yeah.
But in Warhammer, it's like, oh no, my Stormcast are all purple. Or we've got a friend of ours that plays that made all their Stonecast stone. They're stone warriors. And it's stuff like that.
They're Stonecast?
They're Stonecast. I mean,
you said Stonecast.
All right. Well, I guess that's what they are, but they're stone warriors. But stuff like that is so cool because you can make it anything you want, and that near total freedom to engage in your creativity is just really good. I think a lot of times, especially, you know, the job that I'm in has not a lot of creativity in it. It's not you wouldn't call it a creative field, although, you know, all jobs have some, but I'm not a writer or an artist or anything like that. And so the opportunities to create like that and engage are more minimal. But when it comes to Warhammer, I have that opportunity, and I really appreciate it. Final thoughts?
We did it all.
You got it? Still want to play Warhammer, or do you want to get back to some Elden Ring?
I'm taking a little break from Elden Ring because I just killed Fire Giant.
Oh yeah.
After like 100+ tries.
It took Drake a long time, but he got him.
Stupid baby with a plate.
He got him. All right. Well, let us know. I'm interested to know what other people think when there are so many games out there, video games, board games, that you can buy and be playing that evening. Why are you attracted to Warhammer, which when you buy it,
Takes like a week.
What you've bought is a project, and eventually you'll be able to play it. Let us know in the comments below what attracts you. This has been another episode of Battle Ready.
Ready.
Thanks so much for watching.